And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara Podcast. Here's Jeff.
Guest is Michelle Carpenter, spiritual medium and channeler of the Council of Eight. She is also a grief and trauma intuitive, energy and vibrational healer who works with past lives as well as intergenerational and ancestral trauma. Michelle, thank you so much for being my guest today and welcome.
Hi, Jeff. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, I need to start here because I'm not sure, or to tell you honestly, I don't even know who the Council of Eight are. So can you tell us about them first?
Okay, so the Council of Eight and I have been channeling together for possibly about the last year and a half, 2 years. And the name, the Council of Eight, came to me because I kept saying, well, who are you? Who are you? And I have always resonated with the number 8, and they showed me them sitting around kind of like a table, and the name, the download came through as the Council of 8, and how they've showed up in the way I channel are, they're beautiful angelic beings of light, and I don't see them as, as faces. I sense them, and the way they come through to me are in different energies. They have shown me that they have once walked the earth planes, and they are from the 15th dimension. Where that is, I don't know. I've asked them, and they just say it's way out there somewhere in the galaxies. And so the naming, for months and months and months when I was channeling, I would say, well, who are you? Who are you? And they would show me that they're these beautiful, beautiful angels. And they said to me, Michelle, we are of light. We are the consciousness that are out there. And the one time I was talking to a friend in the UK, and we had just moved to our current town, Nelson, and I felt a little bit discombobulated, and I went into a bit of panic mode because where we used to live was in Queenstown, was more on the south of the South Island of New Zealand. And I felt discombobulated coming more up north, and I went into a bit of panic of, can I still channel? Can I still do I still have the abilities? And I remember he got me to stand by the window and look out towards the sea. And he just got me to feel back into my knowing. And they showed up, as they always do, but it was just my head that kicked in. So, yes, that's how they've come to me. They've shown me that they are amazing, amazing beings of light. There are times where I'm sitting right here at my desk, and when the sun comes through, I get this almost like this beautiful blue in the background that you have behind you, but this bright, bright blue. And if I were to say that's how I see them or sense them, this bright, bright, beautiful blue is how they come through to me.
So are you saying they are actually angels?
Yes, they are. Oh gosh, yes. I could just, like, I want to jump up and go, yes, yes, yes. and they're pretty much coming through right now. So I'm kind of sort of wanting to stay with you, but they just want to have a chat. They want to have a talk. They're just, yeah.
Well, they're welcome to join in with us whenever they feel up to it. Since there are 8 of them, do you feel like you communicate with 8 different beings? Or is there a leader from all of them that represents them all that communicates with you directly?
That's a great question. I've never seen them specifically as individuals. I just see them as a collective and feel them as a collective. Having said that, though, there have been times where I have channeled and a friend, whether it be for a friend or clients, where I would feel the essence of Mary Magdalene, or I would feel the essence or the energy of Jesus. And so those are times where they've come through, and I've asked, is this the Council of 8? And they'll say, Michelle, we're energy. I have created the name, the Council of 8. They've given me the name, but it made me feel safe. They say to me time and time again, we're energy. We're out there. This is, we're angels. Yet we're energy. They're beings of light. So for me, we come through as light, and we're having this human experience.
So basically, do you think they gave you the name Council of Eight just as a way for you to understand them?
Yes, I think so. And I questioned it for a good few months. I was like, well, why the Council of Eight? How come it's not the Galactic Federation of Light?
Yeah.
There's how come it's not this? How come it's not that? And they said to me, well, Michelle, for you humans, because we want the understanding, our conscious mind wants the understanding. For you humans, I specifically love 8 because it's a number that resonates for infinity for me. And the council was just, I don't even know how, to be honest with you, when it came through, it was just the name, Council of Eight, Council of Eight. And I was like, the Council of Eight. And then I sort of overthought it, where I thought, the Council of Eight, what is a council? So are these like 8 beings sitting at a table? Having said that, when I've been hypnotized by a few of my friends, I've actually, when I'm under some deep hypnosis spaces or states, I actually have seen myself sitting around a table with different beings of light. So, it's kind of like I still sit going, okay, well, what was this? Who was this? Who gave me this actual name? And often I've been shown, Michelle, you humans like labels. So this is the label that's resonated with you. And I've said, okay, I'll accept it. And I've sort of played this push-pull with them. And I love the fact that they still have me as a conduit and a channeler. Because I've gone, but why? But, my humanness wants to know, but why? Why this name? And they say, Michelle, does it resonate with you? Yes, of course it does. Okay, so that's what we're going to be to you. And that's how it's just sort of rolled out, and I've kept the name the Council of Eight.
Can you share with us your experience of the first time you channeled them and what happened?
Wow. Gosh. Yes, okay. So I'm just having to go back to that first time, and it was in my therapy room in Queenstown, and I got shown to close my eyes, and I kept asking, well, who's here? And I had a client sitting in front of me, and I said to the client, I don't know for what reason I'm going to close my eyes. And there's beings here, there's beings of light, and for what happened for me, I got goosebumps, Jeff, like from the bottom of my feet all the way up. I got these goosebumps, and I still hadn't had a name at that time for them. I just got this internal but external knowing, close your eyes. And I closed my eyes and I said to my client, I don't know who this is, I don't know where this is coming from, but there's a message. I'm being asked to share a message, and it felt very different to me for when I bring in spirit of a loved one who's passed over. So I closed my eyes, and it's probably one of the first times in my life that I felt my brain just become quiet, and it was a really beautiful experience of, okay, I can be quiet in my head, and there's just this clarity, this absolute clarity. And if I was to say that it felt like this beautiful connection of all that is. And when they came through, like I say, I had massive goosebumps. And they have a very different, there's almost like a clicking sound that happens as I am channeling. Sometimes I notice it, sometimes I don't. If I rewatch videos that I've taped, it comes through. But they're just so clear. And they know things they knew things about this client. Like afterwards, when I open my eyes, and I normally sort of yawn to come back into my body, or I sort of just, do a bit of movement to come back into my body. And this client was sitting, her eyes were wide awake. And I thought, what just happened? And the client said to me, Michelle, how did they know that? How did they know? There was stuff that came through that there was no ways I would have known that. And it's with anything that I've come to realize, because afterwards, back in my humanness, I was oh my God, what just happened? How did that happen? And I questioned myself and questioned myself. And then I just kept getting the words, we're here, we're not going anywhere. This is what we want. And I've asked with them to please keep it simple and keep it easy for when I'm channeling, because that's how I like to have things done in my life and show up in my life. And it sort of was practice. Every time I'd be like, close my eyes and go, okay, are you here? Are you here? Are you guys here? And then I just have to calm my body down. And then again, the sensation of goosebumps. And my vibration goes incredibly, incredibly high, that I get very, very cold. And like my hands get really, really cold. And I found that every time I've channeled. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful experience. And I feel it's really important for me to say that anybody and everybody, I really believe this, can do this. This, like I say, only happened in the last year and a half, maybe maximum 2 years. But everybody has this ability. We've just got to get into that space of quietening our minds and allowing what comes through.
It appears that before them, you were already doing some kind of channeling or a medium when you said you were helping people with past loved ones or other people. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Yes.
How long have you been doing that? And did you have some kind of paranormal experience in your life to help you give you that ability?
So to answer your first question, I have been doing it for about 13 to 14 years. And the very first time that a soul or spirit came through to me was a client back in South Africa, and she had lost a little baby girl, which I didn't know at the time. I was counseling, and I said to her, there's a little girl spirit that's here with us. And I described exactly how she had a stillborn birth with this little girl, and I described the dress that the little girl had on, and that's again how my skills started to develop. Yet for me, I do not have the story of, I remember at 3 years old or 4 years old that I could see spirit or I could see loved ones passed over. I had a very traumatic upbringing, and I was at the age of 5, and I had parents who had a lot of alcohol or who drank a lot, and I'm sort of biting up my words here because I'm not really wanting to display my parents looking bad, but I come to realize in the work that I do that I had a lot of trauma, and there was a lot of anger in our home, and I was the kid that remembered a lot of it. I'm a middle child, and I just remember a lot of the fighting. And I then started dancing at the age of 4, and that helped me sort of control a lot of the experiences that I went through because I held onto the secret about me. I lost a very good friend at the age of 16. And at the age of 24, I knocked over and killed a young girl. I was driving a car and happened to look down to put a straw into a drink I had. And she ran across the road and I hit her. And at the age of 33, I was married to my ex-husband, and we had a young baby girl, and I discovered that he was having an affair. And I went to go see a clairvoyant, and this clairvoyant said to me, Michelle, you just don't love yourself. And I just went to him and I said, just help me with my anger. Like, tell me what my life purpose is. Like, how come I have these hectic experiences? And also abusive relationships, just patterns that I just kept having in my life. And that's when I realized I needed to start working with myself. And the more I started working with my own physical feelings, emotional feelings, mental, mind, and thoughts, and grieving, wow, I just realized, even knocking over and killing that young girl, I suppressed those feelings for 9 years. And I then started to grieve and realize how much my growing up, how much the fighting had affected me, how much. What I forgot to mention to you was my parents fled Zimbabwe because my dad was threatened a lot. My dad driving in convoy, with army trucks, and I remember being a little girl. This is one of the memories I remember, and seeing his knuckles being white, and that's where the intergenerational trauma is felt. We felt that as kids, that holding of the breath, not feeling safe. So slowly but surely, as I started to work with so much of my life in this lifetime, I started to become more open and connect. And that's where I started to hear things, and I started to feel things and sense things. So hence me saying earlier on that I really believe that we are, number one, we're all connected. I give the example of when we grew in our mother's stomachs, nobody ever had to say to us as babies, okay, baby, now grow toes. Okay, baby, now grow eyebrows. Okay, we need eyebrows. We forgot kids need eyebrows. We grew from this knowing, from the source. And then we come into this world, and we experience so much as different individuals. But yes, it's slowly but surely the connection happened as I let go within my body.
It sounds like from what you're saying, the best way for you to connect is just to relax and let go, and then they'll connect with you.
The Council of Eight, is
Yes.
that? Yes, that is. I am very fortunate that if I close my eyes, and I'm very happy, like they're here, they would love to be able to, share with anybody who's watching this. But yes, I close my eyes, I take a few breaths, and they're around. It's also my way, because then I don't see myself. Excuse me. I don't see myself. I just like to close my eyes, because then Michelle, the personality, is not around anymore. And they show me frequencies, they show me vibration. So yes, it is about relaxing.
Interesting that you said Michelle, the personality, isn't around anymore. So when you're channeling, are they using your body to speak? Are you completely blacked out and unaware of what they're saying? Or has your consciousness moved to the side where you're still witnessing them speaking through your body?
In the way that it happens for me, there are times where I can feel my conscious mind kick in. Mm-hmm. And please stop me if I'm not making sense, because this is just the way it feels, and how if I was to be sort of to the side, like you say, or even here, it becomes completely clear, and I am completely calm in my body. They work with, and they use my hands. So you can see I'm very animated with my hands, but they show frequency, they show ways of how energy shows up with my hands. But I'm definitely, when I'm closing my eyes, it's kind of like, yes, Michelle is here, even though Michelle is here, and they work with my body and my hands specifically. And I speak a lot slower. Obviously when I laugh, because they are very humorous at times, and they show me in pictures as well, or they'll show a client, or they'll show the person sitting opposite me. They will give downloads to my third eye, and I will describe certain scenarios to a person or to a client sitting opposite me, and I'll say, this is how they are showing me right now. So I can come in and out of it if I choose to. Mm-hmm. And that's what they've shown me, because at times I felt like, am I losing complete control of the situation? And we have discussions, it's when I was saying to you early on, they said to me, Michelle, we're going to speak a lot about us today, and just prepare yourself. And then you when we connected, you had mentioned that to me. So I often, even though I'm busy, let's say I'm packing the dishwasher, my eyes won't be closed, but I'm always connected to them, always. It's Michelle, the conscious mind, that goes, are you guys here? Are you sure you're here? Mm-hmm. And that's my self-doubt that kicks in. So it's just the way I do it, because I feel more calmer that I'm actually not seeing myself on the screen or seeing you on the screen.
Have you ever thought to yourself, why me? Why did they choose me? And if so, have you ever asked them?
All the time. All the time, Jeff. And it's honestly, it's kind of like on a weekly basis. I go, why me, guys? What have I done? And then I go, oh, okay, in this lifetime, okay, good, okay. The answer that I've gotten is, why not you, Michelle? And I suppose this is just something that helps me to feel better when I've asked them, is, they're light beings. They want humanity to feel light. They want humanity to be better for ourselves individually and for the collective. Even just with what we've gone through and what the world has experienced in the last two or so years, I get the same messages continuously, which is about being in our heart, being compassionate, being kind. And if there's one thing I most certainly work on continuously with myself, is about being compassionate, being kind, being non-judgmental. So when I've asked them the why me, the answer I receive is, well, why not you? You've worked hard up until this point. And I continuously work on myself. I continuously want to upgrade myself for my body, my mind, my spirit, and to shift all those patterns, those intergenerational patterns that we all carry in some way.
Can you share with us some of the most profound things that you've heard them express, either to you or to your clients?
Okay, if it's okay with you, because what actually happens, a lot of the information I don't retain, and I've just asked, could they come through and share some stuff with you? I think that this has also been another question that I've sort of pondered on, as to a lot of what I don't remember. And there's a lot I don't remember. It's kind of like I'm in the present moment with them. And when I come out of it, I'm back into me, Michelle. I remember parts, like if a client is saying, oh my gosh, they said this, or oh wow, Michelle, they said that. I remember in the moment. And I'm trying right now my hardest. I'm like, damn it, come on, there's got to be a moment. There's got to be something, Michelle, come on.
Well, even for example, like this, you heard something and you were just like blown away, like, wow. And you even kept thinking about it for a day or two. You're like, I can't believe they said that. That's amazing.
Probably the one thing that really sticks out for me when I'm channeling them is how they describe vibration, how they describe the frequencies that we as humans go into. And I had a client here in the last few weeks, I think it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago, who she comes across very, I've got it together, I'm good. But when they described what her frequency was and where she kept repeating some of her life patterns, the frequency was like this. And I'm remembering this because this is how the client said to me after. She goes, Michelle, the way they describe me and the way I am with inside of myself, the frequency, meaning for me in my experience of working with grief and trauma, the subconscious programmings and the sympathetic nervous system. And they just described that this client was holding it together, putting on a mask, but inside of her there was just this inner churning, this inner turmoil. And that's one way of how I don't even think it's the most profound moment. It's just more the fact of how they share frequency, they share vibration. They will say to a client, this is how come you are experiencing what you're experiencing in your world. And the biggest thing is they share with us what we need to hear, not what we want to hear. And, they will ask clients. And the funniest thing is that often we all have questions, even kind of like me saying, well, why me, and if I'm sitting in my normal day-to-day life and I think, oh, okay, I've got to ask the Council of Eight this, and then as soon as I close my eyes, they're out there kind of watching us all the time. So they know exactly what needs to be said in the moment of being in the present moment. And there are so many channelings I've done where if I had to say to you that they keep coming back to our hearts, guys, do the work and go back into your hearts, because our hearts have their own frequency, don't they, Jeff? They have their own vibration. They have their own pureness. And again, going back to the description of being a baby, our heart's beating. It's beating. And then everything else forms around that. Oh my gosh, and I get teary even describing this right now, and I don't know why. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Sometimes people cry on the show, so
Yeah.
it's no big
But
deal.
it's so pure. That's how the frequency of who we are as humans is so pure. And I feel so honored that even in this moment, because I can feel that our energy is so pure, and we forget that as human beings, when we're in this constant strife of life. Gosh, who thought that was going to happen? Mm-hmm. But that's one thing that they keep taking us back to in the message that they deliver is, please don't forget to be in your heart space. Our hearts know. Nobody's saying to our hearts, come on guys, beat. They just know. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm just going to take a few breaths. We welcome you here today. We are honored that we are here to be a part of this connection between yourself and Michelle, Jeffrey. We are so grateful, is the word that we would like to use, for the work that you are doing on the earthly plane. So we feel it is important to honor you for all that you are doing for humans in their reconnections to themselves. We thank you. So we would like you to ask the question again, please.
Is reincarnation real? And if so, why do we keep coming back to Earth over and over again?
We are smiling as we find this a profound question, which so many humans are asking within these moments in time on Earth. Yes, it is the simple answer. And humans come back for the learnings, for the experiences of what they have not worked with or worked through in previous or past lives. There are timelines playing themselves out. There are timelines playing themselves out. And what happens within the body is there are memories that are stored on a cellular level. And humans come back continuously as they are at times not in their knowing, mostly not in their knowing. They are in their doing, in their doing. And if we were to explain to you, Jeff, that it is as if a lot of humans put their heads down, and in their doing, they are not being. And please notice where we have our hands around Michelle's head. So many humans live from here. And as Michelle was explaining to you, in that moment of her vulnerability, she is expanding more and more and more and more and more from a heart space. So even in the questioning of the, wow, where did this come from? How did this happen? How come right now in this moment? There are questions that she is working through. Yet in the vibration of humans and their hearts, the vibration is continuous. And again, please notice how we use Michelle's hands to show you how the vibration within the heart space is continuous. So the evolving happens on different humans' life paths. The evolving happens if they are choosing to become more aware, more consciously aware of what is. We hope this makes sense.
After the body dies, do we have the option of going to other places besides returning to Earth?
Yes. There is a landing platform where after the body dies, the soul leaves and it lands on a platform. It is a platform within the ethers where the soul then decides if it wants to return and when it is to return. It doesn't happen instantaneously. Humans have this conscious mind, this brain, which is highly intelligent. Yet there is more out there that is an intelligence beyond intelligence, where humans, where science are not able to understand. So the soul goes to a resting place. The soul then chooses if it wants to come back into another human form, or the soul decides to be where it is. We could right now mention all the different planets, yet it is in the quantum field that is so vast and so massive. And that is where the souls are within the quantum field, within their holding space. We hope this makes sense.
Can you tell us what human consciousness is?
We smile as these are questions that have been wanting to be answered for a very long time. Human consciousness is a connection. Every human is connected within their consciousness. Every human has a different frequency, a different vibration. And what we mean by this is within the connectedness of humans. Many humans do not like to look at other humans that are in pain, that are in suffering. And when we describe the pain and suffering within the human mind, it is very different to the way humans have interpreted pain and suffering. So within the human consciousness, this is a vital time in the reconnection. It is as if we are right now showing Michelle a big, massive chain, a chain that has an anchor on it, a chain that is from a huge cruise liner. Those chains, those links are strong within the consciousness of being humans. Yet humans, again, do not like to look at other humans who are not only in pain and suffering as the way humans have interpreted it, yet they have decided that others within the reflections of what they see are not a part of them. So as an example, we would say to you that if someone were to go to prison or jail, Michelle sitting here would not even for one moment suggest or think that she is connected to that human, because that human may have done something that is undeniably painful. Yet that human is in suffering as they have done something that is, we would give the example, murdering another person. Michelle would not want to associate her connectiveness with that person going into jail. Yet when one is in heart, when the soul is in the essence, and please notice how we show with Michelle's hand how the soul is in the essence of moving, sensing, seeking, open. The compassion within here is connected to the compassion with this person that has not done the right deed of taking another one's life. Yet that soul there, the human connectiveness, the soul sees this soul, sees this soul. And this is what we're wanting to impart on many humans. It is a time to seek more compassion for self and for others. This human who has gone to prison did not become like this overnight. This human that has worked within herself, letting go of her own trauma, her own grieving, has not done this overnight. You yourself, Jeff, have worked, seen, done many different things. Hence, soul sees soul, soul sees soul. Yet in the human mind, this is still not making sense. Again, we give the visual, the picture of the link of the chain. Everyone is connected, as everyone is connected to nature. Do you have any other questions for us?
So are you saying that everybody is connected? It's just that people don't want to admit they're connected because they don't like what they see in other people.
Yes. Everyone is connected. And please know that everyone has a different understanding or perception of what connectedness looks like and what it feels like. It is very different in the vibrational feeling as to the vibration of the mental. So when a human is being raised by another human within the family, within the soul group that they have chosen, humans experience different experiences, do they not?
Yes.
And when, as Michelle has shared some of her story as to what her experiences have been in this life, in the holding on, 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 the holding on. When the body has not felt safe, when the mind has not felt safe, there is contraction happening. There is not expansion happening. So yes, the reflections show up. Yet how many times do millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of humans look down on others, look down on the homeless, look down on others who have done a wrong deed? And what we are saying is, when one is in the essence of their soul, when one is in the essence of their knowing, when one is in the essence of pure love, one only sees pure love. One only sees pure love in the other. This is what humans do not remember at times. And there is a massive, massive, massive shift in consciousness, in awarenesses that is happening on the planet right now. And it is time. There are frequencies, there are frequencies, there are frequencies. And we are showing you right now that as above, so below. As above, so below. And with this frequency, it is not a frequency of calm. So the consciousness is of this frequency. And when the consciousness is of this frequency with what we would term fear, anger, frustration, violence, war, the humanness, the collectiveness, the consciousness is not in a calmer space. So Gaia, Mother Earth, feels, she senses, and then she shows, and she delivers the clearings, the cleansings that are incredibly important in these times. Yes, there is devastation, yet it is very much about the consciousness that is being elevated, with many of those that are waking up their third eyes and waking up their heart consciousness. We hope this makes sense.
One last question. Can you give us any advice on how to raise our frequency and or our vibration?
It is a simple, 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 simple. If we had to have a drum right now, we would be beating the drum. As this has been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful question to ask. The simplicity of feeling your heart beating, breathing. Breath is key. Feeling the heart beating and asking, how does the heart feel? How does my heart feel? Compassion, kindness, gratitude. Those are the three specific words that we would love to impart with anyone and everyone today. Be more compassionate, be more kind, be more grateful. And when you are in those spaces, your heart will expand and your vibration will lift. Yet when one is in the lower frequencies of frustration, anger is a big one, as people hold within the contraction. They hold their breaths. When one lets go of the anger, expansion happens and the vibration lifts. It is about creating space for where we are in the consciousness. We are in space. We have space. We feel space. We are space. Yet humans have a mass body that holds. So it is about very much, how does my heart feel when it beats? We thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
We would like to end off by honoring you once again for the work that you are doing. You are a very kind and gentle soul, and we thank you. We wish you the most blessed day. Namaste.
What was interesting is you were correct in saying that there was clicking going on, and I could hear all kinds of clicking going on when you were speaking.
Yes, yeah. So it's interesting enough, it's something that somebody brought to my attention, and I thought, wow. When I channel on my YouTube channel, I get this message, okay, Michelle, we've got a little bit of a download, and what happens is I never know what's going to come through. Mm. And it's very seldom that I watch back what I've just said. But somebody brought it to my attention. I thought, let me go and quickly have a look. I thought, oh my gosh, wow, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's actually it's still happening.
Yeah, because I could still feel like I'm cold, and like my knuckles get really cold. And even though I can see myself, it's like I'm not grounded just yet. Mm-hmm. I can see you, I can see, I can hear myself, but I'm sort of coming back into my body. And normally food does that for me. So when I'm with my clients throughout the day, I just drink loads of water. I don't eat, and then I wait until the end of the day, and then when I have food, and that just poof brings me back in.
Well, let me ask you one fun question that may ground you. I happen to notice that one of your fingernails is painted dark purple. Why is that?
You are so observant as a man. That's wonderful. I don't know, just a bit of fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it just
there's no meaning
just to be
behind
different. No meaning. Oh, funny.
All right, well,
I'm coming back.
Let's move to some of the work you do in healing. Can you tell us about how we hold on to trauma within our bodies and how you can help us with that?
Yes, okay. So I have the ability to feel into your body and or a client's body or somebody sitting in front of me. And what I do is I connect into the person's body, and I am able to feel, let's say, for example, somebody is sharing a story with me about their life and what's going on. I'm able to sense where the energy, where the feelings or the energy moves within the body. And I connect, and I feel it in my body because I'm in the energetic sphere of the person that I'm working with, but I feel it in my body, and I have the ability to feel that when a person goes into or feels sad, their heart contracts, and when they are feeling blissful or joyful, their heart expands. I can also feel, it's kind of like I work some I think the word might be symbolically. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's so if, let's say, for instance, somebody has lost somebody, or there's a story that they're holding on to in their subconscious where there was a lot of pain, I almost feel like there's a pain that goes over the heart. It's kind of like a line where it shows me that the heart was or is sore, or there was heartbreak there. And then I get guided by my guides to, they will show me something when they were 3, something when they were 2, or it could be intergenerational. So this takes me back to actually kind of what we where we were going. But a lot of times the trauma that we hold on to, and I do know this a lot of times, is not our trauma. It's intergenerational. It's the feelings of our grandmother or our grandfather or our mother or our father that we're holding on to. And it's going into the body, which I will ask a client. I'll say, okay, let's go into your body, because it's helping them to connect into their own bodies, to start feeling where the emotions or feelings are sitting. So we might say it's frustration or anger or resentment, but it's a feeling, it's a contraction, it's an emotion that's been stored within the subconscious. And it's helping. What I do then is I either sing or I whistle, or I chant, or I play music. And a lot of times it's just asking people to allow their vulnerability. And that's where the trauma is released. Because when we're storing, or we're told, stop crying, hold on. Often it's here, often it's it's pretty much everywhere in the body. But there's certain parts of the body that, let's say, for example, a person has a sore hip. I will ask them, let's go into the hip, and I'll experience it. And then slowly but surely I'll work on it. I'll whistle, I'll chant, and then I work with the vibration, and I move my hands in a way. Again, it's just how I get guided. And when I whistle, it's a whistling. I believe that a friend of mine in Egypt said to me, it's from the elementals. I don't know where it comes from. It just does. And it helps in the healing of the body. And when a person lets their guard down or their defenses, and they allow their vulnerability, and they have or shed a few tears or they cry, the healing happens in the body because it creates space. But so often we're taught, hold on. And when we've been through a really massive traumatic experience, like, or for myself, knocking over and killing a young girl, I couldn't breathe. But my body started to do other things, meaning I'd get migraines, I would get massive chest infections. So, it's got to show up in the body somehow, and it's helping the body to release.
Do you think a lot of people's pains and physical ailments are mostly from trauma from this life, or intergenerational, or from past lives?
Yes, you ask such great questions. I love it. All of the above. So when I'm working with a client, and sometimes I get shown this is a past life, and in most sessions there are past lives that come through. I'm sometimes resistant to share them with a client, because again the mind gets stuck on, oh my God, I slit a person's throat, or my throat was slit in a past life, or I hung myself in a past life. And for me, it's like, here comes the past life, here it is. Okay, feel it in your body. A client would say to me, Michelle, I feel like I'm drowning. And I go, okay, this is a past life coming through. And I ask, and I normally muscle test as well. I'd get a yes or I get a no. And because I'll ask, is it in this lifetime, past life? And I'll say, okay, where do you feel like you've drowned? And sometimes the client will unveil the story. And where the intergenerational feelings or energy is stored, I will ask the questions of, is this yours, or is this your father's, or is this your mother's? And when you're in the body and you're in your intuition and you're knowing, the answers come like this. When we're overthinking things, we'll go, not too sure. And all we need to do, Jeff, it's so simple, which I think as humans we make life complicated. I most certainly have made my life complicated. But it's in the moment of just breathing, just breathe it out. And as soon as they've breathed it out, literally breathed it out, which is so funny to even say that, the body goes, oh, okay. So we've had the visceral experience, we've breathed it out. Okay, and now how do you feel? If I talk about drowning, oh, Michelle, I feel like I can bring my breath up a little bit more. I feel like I'm a little bit more expansive. And that's all we want is, it's the hardest thing is what can we do in an hour? What can we do in an hour and a half? Because I don't know about you, but I want quick fixes, man. Come on, let's fix 49 years worth of stuff. But it's, and sometimes what I've come to realize in the work that I do, because I go deep, when somebody's sharing their story, their body's always talking to me. So they can't superficially bypass what I'm experiencing or what I'm sensing or what I'm feeling in their bodies, because their body's showing me all the time. And sometimes within an hour and a half session, they're so big that a person lets go so much that, it takes a good few days for the body to re-find its new equilibrium, its new vibration. So may I share an example that's just come to mind?
Sure.
Of how we hold on. Mm-hmm. I had a client who had left South Africa 30 years ago, and I kept feeling this, as I described, this sort of pain in her heart. And I said to her, this is to do with leaving South Africa. And she's like, no, Michelle, I left South Africa 30 years ago, and I've been to the UK, and I've lived in Australia. And then I got the message, play an old South African song. And I played a song, and when I played the song by Johnny Clegg, oh my gosh, I get goosebumps even sharing this with you. If I tell you, she wailed the heartbreak that she felt, but that she'd held on to about leaving her country. And she cried this massive, massive, massive cry. And all I did was just hold her hand. Because in that moment, you just have to allow. And just hold somebody's hand and just say, I'm here, it's okay. And after that, she said to me, I had no idea that I was holding on to that absolute pain within my body. And it's those things that I've realized that, whether we've lost somebody 4 months ago, whether we lost somebody 40 years ago, grieving is different for everybody. Trauma in the body is different for everybody. And it's the feelings that we hold on to, and not one person experiences it. That my would be very different to somebody else. I can't. This would be arrogant or egotistical for me to go, yes, I know how you felt. I know exactly how you felt because I was. No, I don't. I've got to be compassionate and just hold space in that moment for that person to feel.
Let me get in one last question before we move on. The bulk of my interviews are with people and their near-death experiences. And I believe what drives a lot of people to my channel are people that are grieving because of a lost one. And they find that these near-death experiences help them. What kind of advice can you give to people who are grieving about a loss of a loved one?
Allow it. I'm in it at the moment. I lost my mom 4 months ago. And just allow it. Allow whatever you're feeling in the moment. It's grieving, like I said earlier on, is different for every single individual. And when I mean, or what I'm meaning by saying allowing it is, I will walk in the supermarket and I'll have a memory of, I'll walk past the flour and I'll have a memory of my mom baking scones. And in that moment, I either feel, oh my gosh, wow, I remember that. That was a beautiful time when my mom used to make the most awesome scones. But then I'll get a bit teary and I allow it, and then I go, oh, okay, wow, that's allowing grieving. Sometimes it's bigger than that. Sometimes it's the grieving of where your heart just feels so sore, or you hear a song and you just cry and cry and cry. And I too have moments like that. And my husband will say to me, I don't know what to do. And I'll say, just hold my hand. That's all I need you to do is just hold my hand. Just be here for me. So my advice would be, or my suggestion would be, is that when you're in it, allow it. Know that it's okay to be in it. It's okay to feel those feelings. It's devastating losing a loved one. And even though I connect with, spirit, and my mom comes to me all the time, it's the humanness. It's my humanness. It's my little girl, my little Michelle, that misses my mom terribly. It's my teenager that used to fight with her that misses her terribly. It's the adult that used to turn to and say, Mom, I need some help with food, or, can you help me with my kids? So I'm turning 50 this year, and I feel like it's 49 years worth of grieving. But it's momentary, and it's being in the present moment. I don't sit in it. I don't wallow in it. I allow it. So allow it and know that it's not right or wrong, and everybody's grieving is different.
I need to switch gears with you. So if people want to find out more about you, what is your website?
My website is www.michellecarpenter.co.nz. And if you go on there, I have a booking sheet where you can fill out, and it comes to my emails. And please share a little bit about yourself if you'd like. And then I will send you an email and connect with you. And you can also contact me over the phone on text message if you'd like. But I find email is the easiest because I'm always on my emails, and I'll get back to you within 24 hours.
I noticed you have a YouTube channel. What is the name of your YouTube channel if people want to find it?
Michelle Carpenter. They can find me on there.
Are you on Facebook as well?
I am on Facebook, and that is also under Michelle Carpenter. And I'm on Instagram, which is Mish_Carpenter. And if anybody wants to connect, and I really want to help people in the best way that I can, but at the same time, I'm very much about teaching people that they all have their own knowing. And I'm learning that too. We're connected. We're connected to everything. So it's me walking with a person on their journey.
All right, Michelle, before we finish up, can you leave us with one last positive message?
Feel into your hearts and know that it's beating its own heartbeat. It doesn't ask us if it's right. It doesn't ask us if it's wrong. It just is. And know that you are loved. You are so loved. Even in your times of aloneness or loneliness, know that you are loved. And we forget this. So please know that we are never alone, ever. Spirit are always with us. No matter what our circumstances, no matter what we've been through in this lifetime, that we are loved. Thank you.
Thank you for that message. And Michelle, thank you again for being my guest today. I appreciate you, and have a great rest of your day.
Oh, thank you so much, Jeff. I appreciate you too, and thank you for your time and your patience. It's been an absolute honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.